Welcome to this online educational resource for starting the ASHP ACPE accreditation process for pharmacy technician education and training programs. This module will focus on completing the initial application for your pharmacy technician education and training program. It is important to review all available resources before getting started to ensure that you understand the accreditation process. This presentation will include tools and best practices for completing an initial application for accreditation. First, we will review how to prepare an application for ASHP ACPE Pharmacy Technician Education and Training Program accreditation. Then I will show you where to locate and download the application form. Finally, I will review the application form requirements. Before getting started, the first thing you should do is explore the ASHP website. The website may look different in the future than the image on this slide, but the information will always be available. To find a landing page for all Technician Education Program resources, you should go to the Practice Resources tab on the ASHP homepage and click ASHP Accreditation Programs, then select Pharmacy Technician Training Accreditation from the menu on the right. Here is another way to access the landing page for all Technician Education Program resources. The ASHP website may look different in the future than the image on this slide, but the same information will always be available. Go to the Professional Development tab on the ASHP homepage and click Technician Information, then select Technician Education and Training Accreditation below the menu on the right. There is a lot of information available on the ASHP website, and I encourage you to take some time reading and reviewing many of the available resources. If you are unsure where to start, the link titled Accreditation Standards, Regulations, and Other Tools is a home to a collection of materials that can help you start becoming familiar with pharmacy technician education programs. It is recommended that you begin by watching the video Application to Survey for a high-level overview of the initial accreditation process. Before submitting your application, there are a few key items that you should consider. First, it's important to have a qualified program director identified and committed to running the program. Second, it is important to have the support of the organization's leadership as well as funding secured for the technician education program. Within a college site, this may be the dean, and within the health system, this may be the director of pharmacy, or may even be the administration above the director of pharmacy in the C-suite. These organizational leaders should be aware of the needs of the technician training program and will be expected to meet briefly with the surveyor on the day of the survey. It is also very important that funding for the technician training program has been secured or allocated. There will be certain startup costs associated with the program, including purchasing of educational resources, equipment, salaries for educators, and the application fees themselves. Fourth, you should have certain practice locations in mind for student externships. These sites do not all have to be finalized at the time of the application, but they should be in process, and there should be sufficient externship sites and preceptors in the area to justify the success of the program. At this point, the advisory committee should also be formed, and this group can help the program get started. The advisory committee should be comprised of a diverse group of stakeholders. Additional information about the composition and operationalization of the advisory committee is available in another informational webinar. And lastly, you can apply for accreditation the first day that you have a student. Accreditation, once awarded, is retrospective to the day that you first applied. This is relevant because if you apply on the day you first have a student, when you later earn accreditation, that student will have been attending an accredited program since day one. The advisory committee is a very important element in running a successful program, and is also one of the highest areas of partial and non-compliance when reviewed against the standards for accreditation and reaccreditation by members of the ASHP ACPE survey team. The advisory committee is a collection of individuals who bring their own unique knowledge and skills, which supplement the knowledge and skills of the formal board of directors in order to more effectively guide the program. These individuals should represent diverse areas of pharmacy with extensive practice knowledge and experience of the current state of pharmacy practice and should include both pharmacists and pharmacy technicians. For additional information regarding the Advisory Committee, please reference the Advisory Committees for Pharmacy Technician Programs informational video located on the ASHP website. Now let's review some of the requirements for the Program Director. Please refer to Standard 6, Authority and Responsibility provided to the Program Director for a full listing of the requirements. The Program Director is accountable for the overall quality of the program and has the authority to delegate responsibilities to instructors and preceptors. The Program Director must be a licensed pharmacist or nationally certified pharmacy technician with at least 5 years of experience in pharmacy practice prior to entering the position. If a pharmacy technician, they must have graduated from an ASHP ACPE accredited program, possess or actively be achieving an associate degree, or have an appropriate state teaching credential. The Program Director must adhere to state regulations for licensure or registration and demonstrate ongoing continuing education in the field of pharmacy or education. The Program Director's completed academic and professional form, current curriculum vitae or CV, and documentation of substantial requirements for Program Directors as specified in the accreditation standard must be included in the application. To find the academic and professional record form, you should go to the main Pharmacy Technician accreditation page, as mentioned previously. Once there, locate the Sample Forms link halfway down and in the middle of the page. This section of the website provides forms for use by programs. The Program Director is required to download and complete this form, including a copy of their curriculum vitae or CV, and submit this and their CV with the application for accreditation or reaccreditation. This website may look different in the future than the image on the slide, but the same information will always be available. Fees are subject to change over time, but the most up-to-date information can always be found on the ASHP website. On the screen, you will see a table of the fee structure, which is current as of June 2023. Fees are determined based on the program site type and number of sites. Currently, there are separate fee schedules depending on whether the site is a school, college, hospital, or health system-based site. For retail, chain-based programs, and for distance learning training programs. These schedules represent the annual assessment fee. Programs should also be aware that there is an initial application fee, and for schools and hospital-based programs, this fee is currently $750 per program for 2023. Fees do change each year. Typically, the initial application fee can increase by approximately $40 per year. Once you submit the application, you will receive an invoice for the application fee. This number may look slightly different than the number in the fee schedule because fees are prorated to the month that you apply. This means that you will only pay the fee for the number of months left in the year that you apply. For example, if you apply in January, you will pay the application fee plus the full annual assessment. However, if you apply in June, you will pay the application fee plus half the annual assessment rate because there are only 6 months left in the year at that time. Feel free to reach out if you have any questions about your invoice. To find the application form, you should go to the main Pharmacy Technician accreditation page, as mentioned previously. Once there, locate the Applying for Accreditation link halfway down and on the right. This section of the website contains the guidelines for submitting a technician training program accreditation application, the application form, and the fee schedules for the various program types. Please note this website may look different in the future than the image on this slide, but the same information will always be available. Organizations seeking ASHP ACPE accreditation or reaccreditation for their pharmacy technician education and training program must complete an application form signed by their program director, senior administrator or manager, and the dean or CEO. The organization acknowledges accreditation is based on regulations and standards, and that their program meets the requirements while understanding the decision is contingent upon compliance determined by the ASHP ACPE survey. Be sure to review the full terms and informational requirements located in the application form for additional details. And do not send in your application via mail. Your application should be sent electronically to the Accreditation Services Division of ASHP at asd@ashp.org. Programs can choose to offer entry-level, advanced level, or a combination of entry and advanced level pharmacy technician education and training programs. Completion of an entry-level program is a prerequisite for pursuing advanced level education and training. However, programs may choose to provide education and training that prepares for both entry and advanced levels as a continuous program. Entry-level pharmacy technician practice includes the knowledge, skills, behaviors, and abilities needed in a variety of contemporary settings, including community, hospital, home care, or long-term care. While the advanced level pharmacy technician practice includes additional knowledge, skills, behaviors, and abilities beyond those of the entry-level pharmacy technician that are needed for such advanced practice. Entry-level programs focus on preparing students to practice as entry-level pharmacy technicians in a variety of roles across various healthcare settings, such as in community pharmacies, hospitals, or long-term care facilities. Students in an entry-level program must complete at least one experiential rotation in a dispensing pharmacy setting. The number of hours in an entry-level program must equal at least 400 hours over a minimum of an 8-week span. Of these hours, at least 120 must be didactic, and at least 50 must be simulation, and 130 must be experiential. The final 100 hours can be allocated in any of these three categories as deemed appropriate by the program director. In contrast, advanced level programs prepare students to practice in advanced technician roles across a variety of settings. Students in advanced programs must still meet the entry-level requirements for experiential rotations, plus complete one additional experiential rotation. Finally, advanced programs require additional hours for a total of at least 600 hours over a minimum of 15 weeks. Of these hours, 160 must be didactic, 100 must be simulation, and 200 must be experiential. The final 140 hours can be allocated as appropriate. It is important to have a specific defined method for calculating hours for both on-site and distance learning programs. It's also important to know that if you only apply for accreditation for one type of program, in the future you can also submit materials to be considered for accreditation of the second type of program, in addition, for no extra charge. If you initially are accredited for an entry-level program, you will need to be reviewed to ensure that your program covers the additional key elements required for advanced level education and training. You will go through the same accreditation process as you did for the accreditation of the entry-level program by submission of documents. Just be specific to the advanced level areas, and you will be reviewed by a survey team with submission to the PTAC for review and the ASHP ACPE Board of Directors for final voting for accreditation. If you are adding an entry-level program and you are already accredited for an advanced level program, you will not need to go through the survey review. You will just need to submit the application indicating that you are adding an entry-level program. Now let's walk through the application form. Here we see the top portion of the form. In this section, you will start by checking off which type of application you are submitting, an initial application or reaccreditation. You will then check off which type of program, entry, advanced, or both. Lastly, you will enter the name of your organization, the address, including city, state, and zip code, and the phone and fax number. Please ensure this portion of the form is filled out in an orderly, clear, and concise manner. The next portion of the form is where you will identify the Pharmacy Technician Education and Training Program Director and the Chief Executive Officer or Dean or President of the college's information. Please note if the address for the CEO, Dean, President is different, you must supply their address as well. Recall the previously noted requirements for program directors and include any additional required documentation when submitting this application. Lastly, include the date the application is being submitted. And please ensure this portion of the form is filled out in an orderly, clear, and concise manner. The last portion of the application form includes a place to identify the senior administrator or manager information. Again, please ensure this portion of the form is filled out in an orderly, clear, and concise manner. The gray section to the right is to be left blank and is for ASHP ACPE use only. The application guidelines can be found by going to the main Pharmacy Technician Training Accreditation page, as mentioned previously. Once there, locate the Applying for Accreditation link, which is halfway down and on the right. The website may look different in the future than the image on this slide, but the same information will always be available. Please remember, it is important that you review the standards before completing this application form. It is critical that you are honest about having reviewed the standards and have the areas that you are attesting to. To submit your application for accreditation, email your organized, clear, and concise application to the Accreditation Services Division at asd@ashp.org. That's asd@ashp.org. You should receive an email confirmation from the Accreditation Services Division when your application is received. If you do not receive confirmation within 30 days, please email asd@ashp.org and call the office at 301-664-8835. Within 6 to 12 months after receipt of your application, the Accreditation Services Division staff will contact you to schedule your on-site accreditation survey. In summary, there is a lot to consider during the application process when pursuing accreditation for your Pharmacy Technician Education program. You can apply for accreditation the first day that you have a student. Accreditation, once awarded, is retrospective to the day that you first applied. It is important to review all tools, guidance documents, standards, and online resources prior to beginning the accreditation application process. Follow all documentation requirements in an orderly, clear, and concise manner. Lastly, be sure to submit your application via email to the Accreditation Services Division. If you have any additional questions regarding this presentation, please reach out to us via email at asd@ashp.org. Thank you for joining us for this presentation.